All right, I want you to fill in the blanks with me. In fact, I want you to do it right in chat. On the right-hand side, if you're on YouTube, or below if you're in Facebook, fill in the blanks on these two statements. Money is the root of. Money is the root of. Go ahead, fill in the blanks over there. And the second one goes like this. A, money doesn't grow on. Money doesn't grow on. So fill in the blanks over in chat. If you're watching the replay of this, you can put it down in the comments section. My point as we start out today is that today we're going to talk about money. And I do that unashamedly, unabashedly. You know, we live in a world where if you talk about money, you are therefore required to put some more sentences on the end. For example, if I say we're going to talk about money, our culture requires us to go, yeah, but you know, so that you can use it for good. Or, you know, because I get this really good charity. Or, you know, because of sentence, sentence, sentence. But you know what? You having the resources that you deserve to have for the great work that you're doing in the world means that you're being properly compensated and the scales are balanced. That actually, if you think about balancing scales, is justice. And today on EdTalks Live, we're going to talk about the 6 ways to get paid. EdTalks Live is next. All right, hey, welcome to the show. My name's Ed Rush, 5-time #1 best-selling author, your host for the most positive place on the planet for insanely implementable ideas. We're going to jump into chat real quick, and I'm going to take your answers. The question went like this: money is the root of all, and money doesn't grow on. And I wanted to hear what your answers are. I can already see some of the answers already in chat, but I will just tell you that we live in a world that doesn't accept the fact that you are in the pursuit of financial wealth without a sentence attached to it. In fact, if you look at what's happening in our world right now, they look at people with resources and immediately denigrate them and feel like they've done something wrong. Now, I want you to be being perfectly honest. There are some people up there at the top who have done plenty of things wrong to get there, but that doesn't mean that that's true for you or anyone else. And my suggestion to you as a good person is that the more resources that you have, the better you're going to be able to do with those resources. And so today on EdTalks Live, we're going to talk about the 6 ways to get paid. The 6 ways to get paid, okay? Doesn't rhyme with anything else. I don't know why. It must just be the 12-year-old in me. Every time I say the 6 ways to get paid, something inside of me chuckles. You can't unthink it, okay? So I want to jump into chat and say hello to some of our friends. Jump in and tell me who you are, where you're from, what you do, and then I'm going to jump right up to the whiteboard, and we're going to start today with some powerful stuff. In fact, I have a video to show you that blew my mind. Welcome, Brad. Early Brad was here, early in the show. Good to see you, Barry, as well, checking in about a half an hour before the show. Good to see you, Linda Cortez. Linda's rocking it right now, man. Totally transitioning, ready to build an incredible new product for teachers who need it. What's up, Jim? Good to see you, Jim. James McKay as well from Santa Rosa. What's up, dude? One of my favorite places in the world right there. Michael, what's up, dude? Good to see you as well. I got a note heading your way, actually, as we speak. Robert, great to see you as well. Hello, Charles and Elaine, 2 of my favorite people in the world. And actually, Charles and Elaine do for a living what I'm going to be talking about today. They help people share their message, and they get paid very well for it. Yep, the answers. Jim was first with the answer. Money is the root of all evil, and money doesn't grow on trees. Okay. Diana says money can make an A. She's right. She's right. Evil, trees. You know what? It's funny too, because if somebody joined our show, and I just saw about 10 new people join, if you just got on in the last 5 minutes, you're like, evil trees? Wait a second. I thought, Ed believed in the environment, so it was a fill in the blanks job. Yeah, what Jim Butt said. Good to go. Ace Cecilia, good to see you as well. Welcome back. I didn't know that hockey was back. I know that baseball was supposed to be back. It doesn't even look like it's going to last very long. What's up, dude? We love you. I love you too, guys, too. I love you and I like you. What's up, Ski? Ski just sent me his new book. I love it. I love it. And Brad got it. Okay, so here's the thing. It doesn't go like this. It doesn't say money is the root of all evil. That's what you've been told. The actual verse that's in the book of, I believe it's 2 Timothy, says the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Very, very, very different sentence. What's up, Roy Red? Just looking at your Instagram yesterday, dude. If you don't follow Roy Red on Instagram, man, you need to go over there because that dude's killing it. Walt Eisen. Walt's a longtime coaching member of mine, and you can always appreciate Walt for a good witty retort. Walt and I played one of the most enjoyable games of golf in Scotland when we were together last May for our mastermind group. So what's up, Walt? Tell your lovely wife, who does act the brains of the business, you tell your lovely wife that I said hello. That's Roy's Instagram. All right, so I'm going to jump up to the board and we're going to get started. But as I do that, I'm going to share a video with you. So the background on this, and by the way, for those of you who just joined us, my name's Ed Rush. This is the 6 ways to get paid. I'm not going to laugh. 6 ways to get paid. By the way, I should tell you, next week, we've got a lineup for you that will blow you away. So first thing, next Tuesday, I'm doing a show live in Washington, D.C. And the show, we're going to take a little bit of a deviation from our current topic, and we're going to talk about some ways that we as citizens can fix our country. Look, our country needs help, and you're the kind of person that can help it. So I'm going to be in D.C. I'm going to be interviewing 2 of my friends. We're going to talk about how to fix our country. I encourage you, whatever side of the aisle you're on, I'm not on either, just so you know, to join me in that conversation because I'd love to hear your thoughts on what we can do to fix that. And then on Thursday, I've got NFL star Jeff Kemp. For those of you who don't know, Jeff was a quarterback in the NFL for a really long time, incredible player. Now he works with CEOs, and we're going to talk about how to survive the blitzes in life. So we're going to have a blast. It's going to be really good. So yes, you're right. That's one of the things. You need to vote for the right people too. So and maybe Cecilia, that vote means none of the above. All right. So those of you who just joined us, my name's Ed Rush. This is the 6 ways to get paid. I don't know why I'm laughing today, but we're just having fun. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. We're going to talk about how you can get paid for your ideas, your time, your experience, and your knowledge. Now, a couple ground rules for what I'm going to talk about today. First of all, no experience necessary, no degrees, no certification, and I don't even want you to think about them, okay? When I talk to people about going out and helping solve problems, which is what we're going to discuss, solving someone else's problems and getting paid well to do it, typically, the typical answer goes like this. Well, Ed, I don't have a certification. I don't have any kind of coaching licenses. I've never been trained to do this, and you don't need any of that stuff. I will tell you my first real business deal started with a question. Someone came up to me and said, what would it take to get your attention for a day? How much would that cost? And I'm like, I don't even know the answer to that. Like, I didn't know, I've never been asked that question. I didn't know what I cost, but I did actually come up with an answer, and I got paid. I actually got paid $2,500 for the very first coaching day that I did. I could have got more, but that's another part of the story. And so today, I'm going to be sharing with you the 6 pricing models, but really what I'm going to do is share with you some mindset and some skill set tools that you can use right now. And when I say right now, I mean like now. I'm not talking about like 3 weeks from now or a month and a half from now. I'm talking about like picking up your phone and flat out getting it done. And those of you who are inside of my Top Gun consultant community know we've been going deep on this idea of connecting to people who have a problem and solving their particular problem. So thank you. Robert said, I get a quick kick out of your laugh. You know, Robert, I'm used to standing up in front of live audiences, you know, of like 50 to 500 people. And when I say a joke, they laugh, or at least most of the time they laugh. But here I'm sitting in my office, doors open, windows open. There's nobody here. So if someone's going to laugh at my jokes, it's going to be this guy, okay? All right, so those of you just joined us, my name's Ed Rush. This is 6 ways to get paid. I want to show you a video. So I was Googling myself the other day, which sounds so weird, okay? I was Googling myself. I don't know if you've ever done this before. Like I type in Ed Rush, I type in Ed Rush Jr., because technically I'm a junior. I type in Ed Rush Pilot, I type in Ed Rush Speaker. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but that is terrifying. I mean, if you're like me, I've written 5 books, I've got 70 some of these shows, there's massive amounts of content, I've created 15 different information products. There's a lot of stuff out there. I mean, a lot of speaking, went to a lot of, you know, oh my goodness. When you start to Google yourself, it's terrifying. And then you come across like, I have like an Amazon review for one of my books where a guy's like, this guy contacted me on LinkedIn because he wanted to partner with me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you find things said about you that aren't even true on planet Earth. And so I Googled myself the other day, which, by the way, is a healthy thing to do as a business owner. You do want to have a clean brand online. And when I Googled myself this last time, I found a video that totally blew me away. In fact, it really cracked me up. And I had totally forgot about this student of mine. His name's Ken. He was a student of mine about 4 years ago. So I want to play you this video. It was so great. And I'm going to make some points when I jump up onto the board about what Ken did so successfully. And I'll just tell you, cutting to the chase, this is a guy who made $60,000 before he came to my course, but using the strategies that I'm teaching you right now. Okay, so watch this video. When you come back, I'll be on the board and we'll start talking.
Hey guys, my name is Ken Okazaki and I am in Yokohama, Japan, and I wanted to make a quick message to Mike Kinnings and Ed Rush for making such an excellent program. Now, quick story, I was watching on Facebook the webinar preview for the program, and it was just kind of white noise going in the background, and then this thing called the six-figure text message popped up on the screen. So I thought, hey, let's try this, because I had this one client that wasn't getting back to me for some time, and I just kind of gave up on him. So I copied and pasted that text message over to him, and sure enough, before the preview was over, I think the preview was a little bit over an hour long, but before it was over, he had gotten back to me and we had made an agreement on a $60,000 deal. Now, immediately I was looking for the price. I wanted to buy the rest of the program. So what's so amazing about this is even before I purchased the program, which I did, even before I purchased it, I was already at $60,000. Now, I am not a consultant or advisor, but I'm considering it at this point. I am a video web marketing agency, but I just want to say thank you, and I'm eager to get into the rest of it, really eager to get more results in the sales for my video marketing agency. Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Ed.
All right, oh shoot, I forgot to change all that time. You know, I had like a minute and a half to change the camera. One of those days, baby. So $60,000. So the coolest story, so he sent us that video. That was back in an old course that I did with Mike Kinnings on consulting. And Ken sent us the video. He's from Yokohama, Japan. So he watched a training like what we're doing online, not one of my courses. He watched a training and then used a technique called the six-figure text message, which I'll teach at some point down the road. Is a very simple technique to use your phone and nothing else to get people to pay you, okay? Because fundamentally, the fastest way to make money right now, look, there are a lot of ways to make money, okay? And I'm not denigrating any of these, but I will tell you that every single way that I'm about to show you, except for one, takes time. For example, let's say you want to open up a brick and mortar business, like a little restaurant. I mean, you know how long it takes, especially now, you know how long it takes to get all that stuff, set up all those supplies and the insurance and the food ordered and the menu created and the team built, but take it to online. Like, what if you want to create an information product? Well, you need to build a list, you need to get a landing page, you need to have a sales letter, you need to do webinars, you need to have a product, create the product, have it printed or produced or whatever that is for you, and that's an online thing. So people talk about how quickly you can make money online, but that takes at the very least 2 weeks, more like about a month to be able to get that done. Let's say you want to write a book. Well, it takes a while to write a book, get it edited, get it published. Let's say you want to be a speaker, you want to go out there. Well, that takes some time too. You got to build your platform, get people to call you. If somebody books you for a speech, now it'll probably be in October anyway, so you got to wait a little bit of time to do that. Nothing wrong with any of those industries. I do most of those things, by the way, except for the restaurant part, but I will tell you that every single one of those requires you to wait. And so when people come up to me quite a bit at events, they'll ask me this question: Ed, what's the fastest way for me to make $10,000 right now? And the funny thing about that question, when they ask it to me, Ed, what's the fastest way for me to make $10,000 right now? It's crazy. Like when I speak and go to the back, I almost always get that question, and it's so funny because there's two parts of that question that are always the same: the $10,000 part and the right now part. I mean, for real. Like I can always tell, oh, here comes somebody to ask me about the $10,000 right now. So somebody comes up and says, Ed, what's the fastest way for me to make $10,000 right now? And I tell them very simply, I say, solve a problem, get paid. And they're like, whoa, what? You know, it's the most simple way to approach this. I'm going to expand this in just a second. Reminds me of a story. There's an old general back about 1,500 years ago in the country of Syria who had a skin condition called leprosy. He came all the way across the desert to this old prophet in Israel, and he said, somebody told me that you could heal me. And he said to him, yeah, just go wash down in this pool and you'll be fine. And this was this little nasty little pool that was sitting over here. And the general came from Syria and said, wait a second, you don't want me to take a longer journey and go bathe in the river? Or you don't want me to go to one of the great pools in Syria? There's this little dirty place right over here. And the prophet was like, yeah, just go there and you'll be fine. And the guy walked out all upset, but he thought, you know what, maybe I should think about this for a second. And sure enough, he jumped into the dirty pool and he came out completely clean. Now, the moral, or one of the morals of that story, is it's not the complicated solution to your problem that often works. It's the most simple solution to your problem, okay? So expanded version of this is, number one, find a problem that you know how to solve. So for example, maybe after watching this show for a little while, you've got a little bit of a knack of being able to live stream, like what we're doing right now using edrush.com/StreamYard, okay, which is my affiliate link to the platform that we're on. Now, you may not be an expert at it, but you know enough to kind of get started. And then there's business owners out there who may want help in doing that, and that's a problem for them that you can solve, okay? You may have the ability, like for example, Diana, who's on here, is brilliant when it comes to organic gardening. Well, there's a lot of people right now who are getting into organic gardening because of the health benefits to them and their family. And clearly we need to eat more vitamins and not eat more McDonald's. And so she's the kind of person who can help families and even businesses and communities be able to do that. Well, that's a problem that she can solve. And there's other people, for example, like Charles and Elaine Sanger, who are here, who help entrepreneurs write, publish, and launch books. They have their own publishing company, and they can help you write a great book, but also get it broadcast out to the masses. Well, that's a problem for most business owners who don't know how to write a book or don't know how to get it out to the world. So Charles and Elaine essentially solve a problem. Coaching, consulting, advising is nothing more than solving a problem, which, by the way, should hopefully take all the pressure off, okay? Because people always ask me, Ed, what should I consult on? Ed, what should I charge? Ed, what should I do? And all the questions are about them, when really fundamentally, consulting, coaching, and advising is all about your client. It's all about them. It's all about their problem. Here's the thing. It doesn't actually matter how much you charge. I'm going to get to the pricing in just a second. You could charge $1, you could charge $10,000, you could charge $100,000 or $1 million. The economic equation has more to do with the problem you can solve. So for example, let me give you an example. Michael Ogorick, who's on this, who's on this show, has an extensive background in the auto industry. There are some significant problems that a guy like Michael can massively change in big industries. Well, let me say theoretically, let's say a company has a problem that is, say, a $10 million problem. And there are a lot of companies out there, by the way, with $10 million problems. What if a guy like Michael could come in and fix that problem in a week? Well, you know what? You could get paid about $500,000 to fix a $10 million problem. Does anybody care how long you work? No, because fundamentally they want the problem, okay? Now, so find a problem. Number two, find a person, okay? Number two is to find a person or a business, but business owners are decision makers. Find a person with that problem. Somebody take notes in chat. First one's find a problem. Second one's find a person, okay? Third, ready for this? Do a deal. 4, get paid. 5, solve problem. Okay. And by the way, sometimes that problem solving, sometimes that's just being a sounding board for somebody. Sometimes it's just giving a little bit of advice. Diana's like, you know, this is where you should probably put your community garden. This is what you should plant next to this. Carrots love tomatoes, you know, and so sometimes it's just giving people advice. Look, I was hired by one of the top 10 digital marketers in the world. This is a guy who just a year before he hired me as his consultant, he had done a product launch online that generated $11 million, which at that point was the highest revenue generating product launch of the time. A little over $11 million. Next year, he hires me to help him work on a product launch. Look, I hadn't done a product launch. At that point, I've got, I think at this point, 5 product launches over $1 million. But back then, I had 0 under my belt, okay? So, dude hires me, brings me into his company to help him with a product launch. Well, what did he want? He wanted someone else to run his ideas by. He wanted someone else to go, hey, let's say it like this and not like this. He wanted to get better. And the funny thing about it is some of the most wealthy, influential, powerful, connected people in the world are the ones who are reaching out for help because they just want a slight advantage, okay? So take away all the inner talk about what you can and can't do. The opportunities for you are endless. Just open yourself up to the abundance of those possibilities. Number 1, find a problem. Number 2, find a person. Number 3, do a deal. Number 4, get paid. Number 5, solve a problem. Those of you who are in the Top Gun consultant community, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I'm doing a brand new product. It's called Top Gun Consultant. I'm launching it on August 18th. That's Tuesday, August 18th. That's our first training day. We're going to go from the 18th to the 28th, about an hour and a half each day on the weekdays. And this is the coolest thing you'll ever hear, okay? For those of you who haven't heard me say this, I'm guaranteeing this course, okay? So it's a $2,000 course, $1997. There's a payment plan, so there's a payment plan that's like $700, okay? I'm guaranteeing you'll make $5,000 in the first 2 months after taking the course, or you get your money back. Is that an amazing deal or what? Just so you know, I've got a great track record with this. In fact, some of my students are in chat right now. When I polled my students who have gone through some of my past consulting courses, we received an 87.4% success rate from those who came through my trainings. The ones that responded, that came through my trainings, had closed a significant deal within 2 months of taking the training. That was the $2,000 to $109,000. That was the range of deals, okay? Sorry, it's about $500 to about $109,000 were the range of deals. And half of the people that responded, the 87.4% of the people that were successful, closed a significant deal within 2 weeks. What I'm telling you is what I'm teaching you works, okay? And by the way, if you want more information about that course, the website is below. Actually, I have it up real quick. Let me just show it to you. This is brand new. I'm telling you, this thing went up yesterday. Okay, so this is the new Top Gun. This is the website for the new Top Gun course. I would read this. It's going to show you some of the simplest ways to get started. There's a lot of teaching inside this little letter right here. You're also going to see plenty of testimonials from my students, which should be very inspiring for you. And then when you get to the bottom, you can see that there's this guarantee. You'll make $5,000 in the first 60 days or your money back. Let me just do this fully transparently. I have had team members, I have had affiliate partners, I've had some of my the people that I work with that give me advice, tell me don't do this guarantee. I mean, like, do not add. What are you like? People are like, hey, I'm not too sure about this. Like, what? People might take advantage of you. I hope somebody who doesn't believe in me and maybe not even believe in themselves says, fine, I'll take the course and then I'll get my money back. And then when you take the course and you go make money, you'll have a huge smile on your face and I'll have a huge smile on my face and we'll have a great story to tell, okay? So if you're like super skeptical or you're like, I don't know if I believe, look, it's just very simple. This is just guaranteed. And I think it's an awesome deal. And the course is incredible and it's my 5th iteration of a consulting product and it's got my best stuff. And I just finished the manual. Holy moly. This manual is almost 200 pages long. It's full of scripts and forms and agreements and everything you need. This is going to be the quintessential course, and you don't need to have any experience. You could be some of the people that have already joined are experienced consultants, and some have no consulting experience at all. Okay, so pretty good deal, and that offer is for you. And I've got some fast action bonuses coming as well. So now would be a really great time. Roy's already signed up. Hey, Michael, my man. Super smart guy right there. You guys pay attention to him, okay? He's going to be making some major waves. Thank you, Brad. Find a problem, find a person, do a deal, get paid. It's like the simplest. There's Diana right there. I was texting David today. He's one of my clients. He's like, I'm late, but we had to close the deal, so I'm assuming you get a pass, dude. Hey, by the way, I'm bringing David on the show sometime soon. So David's deals are not 5,000, 10,000, 20. He does $997 deals, $1,000 deals. Last week when we were talking, he had closed 5 out of 5. I don't know if you know that, but that's pretty good. Okay, 100% good, 100% good, 100% is good. Sorry. All right, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, for those of you who just joined us, man, we had a whole bunch of people just jump onto the show. You all are amazing. Thank you, by the way. Below you, if you're on YouTube, there's a little button down here that says subscribe. Click that button and click the little bell next to it. It tells you when we have a show coming up. If you're on Facebook, hit a like button or share. I never ask that. I always forget. My team always has to remind me. So just consider this my one ask this week, okay? And for those of you who, next Tuesday, our show is live in DC, which is going to be awesome. This is 6 Ways to Get Paid, and I am Ed Rush, and I already said I can't say 6 ways to get paid without laughing. Don't send me mean letters on that. It's just me, okay? All right, so let's get down to the different ways that you can get paid. And again, what I'm going to teach you is pretty easy stuff to implement. It's not hard, okay? So 6 ways to get paid. All right, so grab a pen and write these down. Some of you have seen these before. Those of you who are inside of Top Gun Consulting, you're going to get my favorite bonus 7th tip. Right now, I'm going to show you the first 6, and just get ready to implement this stuff. Someone take notes in chat, and then we'll get rocking and rolling. And I should have time for just 1 or 2 questions towards the end, but not many, okay? So first way to get paid is a fee, okay, or a one-time payment. Those essentially are the same thing. So most of the deals, and by the way, I'm speaking specifically about coaching, consulting, advising deals. Most deals come down to you getting paid to help someone solve a problem. So for example, like Charles and Elaine, not sure where your pricing is right now, but let's just say something like Charles and Elaine charged $10,000 to help you write, launch, create a book, and become a best-selling author, which is a great deal, by the way. So you would pay them a $10,000 check, or maybe you would pay $2,000 for 5 months, or some sort of payment plan, but you would pay them, they would deliver, and then you would get the result that you want, and then they would get the result that they want. And by the way, we live in an amazing world. I just love the free market economy. That word free is very important. I mean, don't forget the word free. You know, when you're like, oh gosh, when you see the next round of legislation, don't forget the word free. The free market economy is an amazing place. You know what I love about the free market economy? It's free. You know what that means? If you want to do a deal with Charles and Elaine and have them help you with a book, then you can do a deal with Charles and Elaine and have them help you. And it's your decision to do that, and it's their decision to do that. No one's forced you to make that decision, and no one forced them to make that decision. You came together because there was something you wanted that they had, and there was something they wanted that you had, and instead of like warring neighbors, you got together and traded. How cool is that? Okay, I mean, if you look at history, for example, there were 2 parts of the United States. We live in a culture right now where like everything that any settlers or anyone who came to America or any founding fathers at this point, everyone's wrong, okay, in our culture. But I will tell you that they did a lot of things right. So for example, there were 2 cultures, like in Virginia, the Virginia plantation that landed truly did some awful, horrible things to the Native Americans who were in Virginia. They mistreated them and they stole from them, and not wholesale. There were some good people down there too, okay, but the setup was pretty good. But up in Plymouth, up in Massachusetts, it was a totally different setup. The way that they treated and honored the Native Americans who were on that soil, and when they took a piece of land, it was because they traded with the Native Americans and gave them something of value in return for something of value. The free market system allows you to be able to do this. So the first one is a fee or a one-time payment, which is the most common way to get paid, okay? The second way is by far I should say, this is my second favorite, is the monthly retainer, okay? And a monthly retainer is simply a fee or a one-time payment that happens on a monthly basis. So I learned this technique. I always used to do fee-based consulting. So if somebody wanted to work with me, they would say, Ed, how much does it cost for you to help me do this? And then I would be like, that's like $25,000. And they would be like, wow, that's a little outside of our budget. And then I would be like, well, tell me what your budget is, give me a range. And they said, we're in the $15,000 to $20,000 range. And then I would say, so I'm assuming if we could lock this deal down at $20,000, you'd move forward on that today. And then they would say yes, and then I would say yes. And what I just taught you, by the way, is called my yes before the yes technique, okay? And I have a very robust way of negotiating price which doesn't involve you quoting a fee at all, and it only involves you asking questions, and what you just heard is part of my technique. So I was sitting with my client, or my prospect, and this person wanted to help. This is the person who wanted me to help them with a product launch. Not the same one I was talking about, but it was about 7 years ago. She was sitting in my office. She said, hey, we want you to help us with the product launch. And I said, and so this is crazy, okay? So I came in there. My goal for this deal is I wanted to make $10,000. So I was like, hey, you know, when you go in, you think, how much am I gonna make on this particular deal? So I thought, this is gonna be a lot of work. I wanna make $10,000, okay? So I said, so give me an idea. She's like, so how much do you charge? Now, think about this. I could have come out and been like, well, I charge $10,000, you know? But here's what I did. She goes, how much you charge? I said, well, I don't know. You know, let's get a better scope of the kind of work that you want me to do. What's your budget? Write that down. Write that down. I said, what's your budget? And I said, just give me a range of what you were thinking. Like, another one to write down, by the way. I have hundreds. Oh my goodness. I wrote this. I just got done with this manual for Top Gun Consultant. I stopped counting. There are hundreds and I call them Top Gun scripts. There are hundreds. You all who are signed up, this is going to blow your mind, okay? Hundreds of scripts like this, hundreds. So I said, give me an idea of your budget. What's your range? Here's what she said. Ready? Wait for it. She said, well, we were thinking right around $12,000 a month for 5 months. So think about this for a second. She came in, I thought I was gonna get $10,000. And she said, let's do $12K a month times 5. Now, I am a Marine. That means I'm not great at math. But some quick math on this one, I think that's about $60,000. It's funny, it's the same thing Ken made, by the way. Last I checked, that's more than that. Okay? And I said, you know what you have to do as a consultant? I'm going to teach you all this. I'm going to teach you one of my favorite techniques. I'm going to go deep on this one when we get into Top Gun Consultant on August 18th. I'm going to teach you how, when somebody blows your mind and gives over what you're anticipating, I'm going to teach you how to sigh, to make that little noise, and then to be like, okay, let me think about this for a second. Like, you gotta really play it. You can't be like, yes, that's so much more than I was thinking. You gotta play it, okay? Anyway, I got paid more than that. I got paid more than that, actually, because I got a percentage on the product that we did, and I did another deal with them. It was great, okay? But that's a lot more. I made 6 figures on this deal eventually because I knew enough to ask the right question, okay? So sometimes a monthly retainer is nothing more than you saying a month, how much is your fee? $10,000 a month, instead of just saying 10K. Okay, let me jump into chat real quick, say hello. This is really, really good. This is really good. Celia, I just found a person with a problem, put them in touch with someone who could help them. 50 billion medical glove order. I'll get paid. Oh, that's incredible. Get that in writing. Really good. Good job. Really good. 6 ways, 6 ways, 6 ways. We all need subject matter experts to be successful. We go faster with more quality, less time, and it actually gets, no joke, man. No joke. That's true too. Yeah, that's right. He's right. Barry was at one of my very first consulting classes. 2 words after the quote. No joke, man. So Linda teaches high school math teachers. Huff at long, that's exactly what I taught, man. He was at that class, huff at long periods of silence. So, by the way, if you just joined us, there's another 10 or 15 of you that just joined us. So welcome to the show. My name is Ed Rush. I'm in the middle of 6 ways to get paid, 6 ways to get paid, 6 ways to get paid. So if you missed it, you can always come back and watch the replay. Do me a favor, say hello in chat. We've got, I think, well over 50 people on the show now. So jump in on the right-hand side if you're on YouTube, especially if you're new, you haven't been here before, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you do. I'll make sure to mention you right here on the show, just like I did here with my man David Zetz and Linda, who are longtime coaching members both, and Barry, who I've known for probably 8 years, I think now, since probably 2012. So I'd love to have you jump in and say hello. And if you're on Facebook, that's going to be right below you. Okay, so let's get back into the 6 ways. This is Ed Rush, 6 ways to get paid. Let's get cranking, and it's all about the zeros. They just said, I love it. All right, let's get cranking on the rest of this. Okay, so way number 3 is a percentage. A lot of information marketers like this model. So for example, there's a guy that works for me who gets paid a percentage of the net of one of the businesses that he runs. My referee business that really operates on its own thanks to some team members that operate that. He gets paid on a percentage of that. So it's a very popular model inside of information marketing, the kind of work that I do. The problem with the percentage model is 100% of zero is still zero. 50% of zero, still zero. And so when you're doing a percentage, especially on something that's theoretical, you need to be careful about how you go into that. Because there's a lot of business owners out there. Like, you ever go to a networking reception with business people and people are introducing each other, and you get this person that comes up and you're like, so what do you do? And they're like, I'm a small business owner. And you're like, so basically you're broke. Because here's the thing, nobody ever introduces themselves. Like, I'll go be like, I'm an author, I'm a speaker, author, and former fighter pilot. Or somebody's like, I'm a real estate investor. Or someone's like, I'm a mortgage broker. Someone's like, I'm a personal injury attorney. Nobody ever goes, the only person who says I'm a small business owner is a person who's not a small business owner, because other small business owners introduce themselves differently. So sometimes people will be like, I'm a small business owner and I've got this new product that's coming out. We're gonna make millions of dollars. We'd like to bring you on board and give you 10%. And then you're like, man, millions of dollars. Well, 10% of millions of dollars is a lot of money, but remember, it's all in small business owner's head. It didn't actually show up on paper until it actually shows up on paper, which is why if I'm working with someone who's new and they wanna do a percentage deal, I will often do, number one, the upfront fee, that's the upfront, plus the percentage. Okay, so let me tell you a story. So I was working with a guy named Brian Tracy. Some of you know Brian, incredible speaker, thought leader. I have so much respect for Brian Tracy, who I believe has helped millions and millions of people change their lives. So I was talking to Brian, and he decided that he wanted to bring me in to help him create and launch a new product. I was blown away by that. I actually helped Brian with some of his speaking, which was amazing, because Brian Tracy is one of the best speakers I've ever known in my entire life. So they came to me and said, we want you to help us create this new product. I said, I'd love to be able to do that. And they said, we want to pay you a percentage on this deal. And it was a little bit of, just a little bit below 10%. And I said, great, let's do this. So let's just do some theoretical numbers. I'm not going to give you the real numbers. Let's say they said 8%. We want to give you 8%. I said, that's fine, but let's do this too. Let's do, why don't you pay me $8,000 up front? That's an advance on earnings. If nothing comes of the product, I get to keep that. But if something comes of the product, you get to keep the first 8% on the first $100,000. See how that works? So the first $100K that comes in, they keep that because they paid me $8,000. So they wrote me an $8,000 check, and then they went off to sell several $100,000. I think it was about $500,000 or $600,000 more of the product that we created. So I ended up getting paid more. The good news on that, though, is if you're working with small business owner, dude, if you get that, they give you $8,000, nothing happens, you still got paid. Okay? Number 5 is a trade. All I will simply tell you on the trade is this. Only do it for something that you really want, that you can't get your hands on unless it's through that person. So for example, let's say somebody's like, hey, I can get you on Air Force One. You know what? I'd consider doing a trade because I don't know many people who are going to get me on Air Force One. Or someone's like, hey, I'm having lunch with Elon Musk tomorrow. Do you want to join Elon Musk and I for lunch? I'm like, you know what? That would be pretty cool, because that's not necessarily something that I can hook up on my own. What I wouldn't do, though, is somebody will be like this. Hey, why don't we do this, Ed? You consult my business and I'll give you free dry cleaning for life. And I'm like, why don't I just pay for dry cleaning and then you can pay me my $25,000 fee and we can figure it out that way. Because here's the thing. You know, people say things like integrity is the new currency. Transparency is the new currency. Well, I'd like to submit that currency is the new currency. Actually, I would like to submit that currency was the old currency, currency is the new currency, and currency is the next currency. You know how I know this? This is very simple. I have a bank. It's called Chase. They're right down the hill. I can almost see them if I were to look down over the hill where I live here in California. That bank, Chase, you know how they operate? They operate based on currency. You know, for example, if you're going to pay your mortgage, like you go down to Chase, you give them money, it pays the mortgage. You can't walk down into Chase and be like, look, Chase, I got this dry cleaning thing, or like, I got lunch with Elon Musk, man, you want to come? No, it doesn't work like that. See, banks trade currency as currency. So as a consultant, I would consider doing the same thing, unless, like I said, unless it's Elon Musk and Air Force One, in which case, let's go. Especially if we can do both at the same time. All right, last one, and then I'm gonna sit back down and we'll take some questions. We got maybe 8 minutes or so for questions. By the way, for those of you who just joined us, you are amazing. My name is Ed Rush. This is 6 Ways to Get Paid. 6 Ways to Get Paid. Next week, live in DC on Tuesday. I'm going to try to find a place to broadcast right on the Capitol, by the way. And then Thursday, I'm interviewing NFL star Jeff Kemp. So huge week next week. You're not going to want to miss a thing. Mike Semmel says, I was asking a prospect qualifying questions that he couldn't answer, so I suggested a $20,000 assessment, which he agreed to. Then instead of the $5,000 deal I was hoping for, I got $12,000 a month. I had a student of mine. I've had a lot of students that did things like, for example, Carolyn Sampson, who some of you have heard this story. This is my first success story from my first consulting class that I ever brought in, ever. I want to put this in context. I taught this group of people how to do deals that were like $5,000. And I sent them off. So it was 27 people in my initial first class. Sent them off. The first success story came in from Carolyn, and her deal was $74,000. And she honestly, I think she just felt like, why not? You know? And part of what I do, by the way, it's sometimes it's a magic of the way that I teach Top Gun Consultant is if you need a little confidence or like a little boost, you get that because the strategies to implement are so easy. You feel like, gosh, I can just do this. And then all of a sudden you start seeing members of your community with the successes coming in. And then you just kind of feel like, oh, I can do this. And all you need sometimes as an entrepreneur is just to tell yourself, I can do this. I mean, just think about that. What would it be like if you believed for real, like in your heart and soul and your spirit? What if you believed, I can do this? I can do this. If you believed, I can do this, you would do it. I mean, sometimes that's all it takes. But a course like Top Gun Consulting, and for those of you who just joined us, by the way, the new course is up. It launches on August 18th. I showed this website. There's a $5,000 guarantee. Here I bolded. It said, make $5,000 in 60 days or you're going to get your money back, which is the biggest no-brainer in the entire world. I had so many people try to talk me out of that. But look, I'm sitting here saying, my system works. My system works. So why don't I just back it up? I think it's a great transaction because option one is nothing happens to you. And if that happens, then you get your money back and you get the course for free. You can keep it. I already said you can keep it. Option two is you make $5,000 or more, and that's 2.5 times return on your investment. So like either way, you either get my training for free or you get 250% return on your investment. Is like a total no-brainer. So I was writing the sales letter and I was like, this is one of the best things. I'd sign up for it. Like if it wasn't me and I was teaching it, maybe I will. All right, so number 6, and then we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna do questions for just a couple minutes and then I'm out of here. Last one that people will offer is ownership of company. This isn't common with big, huge, successful businesses. So for example, like when I went to work with Brian Tracy, he wasn't like, hey, and I'll give you 30% of my company. Because big, successful businesses don't do that. The numbers get a lot smaller. By the way, some of them do. I have one of my clients brokered businesses, so he got 5% of the deal, which essentially turned into equity ownership of the company. Just remember, when you do ownership, I'm not going to go too deep on this. I will inside of the course. 3 types of ownership: voting, equity, and an income ownership. In other words, you can have an equity share, which means you get paid when the company sells. You can have a voting share, which means you get to vote on what happens in the company, or you have a say. And then you can have an income share, which means if they make $10,000 and you're a 10% owner, you get $1,000, right? The only thing I'll tell you about ownership is it's very common for businesses with 0 revenue and 0 in the future to offer big pieces of ownership. So, for example, one of my clients was really big in the crypto space. If you're not familiar with the crypto space, it's like Bitcoin and Litecoin and altcoin and Ethereum, alternate payment methods. Bitcoin is the most popular and probably will be the one that sticks around. But as there were over 1,000 different coins, people would literally get like $30 million to create something out of thin air, some electronic coin, which is crazy. And most of those companies have gone under. And so I had a client who was an advisor to a lot of those companies. And those companies would go like this. They go, hey, we don't have any money to pay you, but we'll give you $1 million in Fred's coin, or whatever the stupid name was for the coin. And he's like, wow, $1 million of Fred's coin. Man, when Fred's coin takes off, this is going to be worth $1 billion. And that's what they would tell him. And then Fred's coin would implode, and the dude would have worked 6 months for nothing, okay? So if you're with like a zero company, I would consider getting paid like some sort of retainer, and then maybe parlay that into some sort of membership, okay? So those are the 6 models. Again, I go deep. I do a full day on pricing models and the pricing discussion inside of Top Gun Consultant, but I thought that you would want to see that. By the way, the website's right there, and the guarantee's right there. And maybe someone will talk me out of it. But right now, you got it. So if you want to get on the guarantee, now's the time to do that. This will expire out pretty soon, okay? So if you're on the fence, get off the fence and come and join us. All right, so, yeah, Barry just said this. I love this story too. Carolyn Sampson said, I'll throw her story back up there again. Carolyn came to an event and I interviewed her, and she said after the doctor paid her and then she started delivering, she said he looked at me and said, he looked at her and said, I don't think I'm paying you enough. Oh my gosh. Free. See, he got what he wanted. Like, this is a doctor who's making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think he was pushing $1 million. So, and she can help him make another couple $100,000, and he paid. I mean, it's a great deal. So if somebody says, I'm not paying you enough, that means they got great value. So great. Chris says, it's our starting price you recommend for consultants. Do you charge based on hourly fee? Oh, great question. Thank you. I meant to actually start the show with this, Chris. So I'll begin to wrap up. Which means if you have any other questions, now's the time to jump in. Okay. When it comes to charging hourly, daily, weekly, for a time interval, never, 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 hopefully that's enough nevers, never charge based on a time interval. In fact, it's so important. You'll never hear me teach this. Now, I do teach a method inside of Top Gun called a backstop. I give you the minimum deal you ever do based on a time interval, okay? But that's not something you publish. That's something that's inside of your head. Never do it off of a time interval. I will tell you that is the fastest way to go broke as a consultant, and here's why. No one wakes up in the morning and says, you know what, I just need an hour. I just need an hour of somebody to talk to me for an hour. Nobody wants that. What they want is a solution to their problem. So Chris, when I do my consulting deals, so for example, one of the core components of my consulting with my clients is a 5-hour coaching day. Now, they work with me for a year. We talk on the phone, get on Zoom. There's mastermind meetings. They get deliverables and products. There's a lot of stuff, okay? But the core thing is 5-hour coaching session. And the truth is, most of them get everything they need in that session to be wildly successful. Now, we stay connected and coach and everything. But that's it. Now, think about this. I charge about $25,000. So if somebody said, what do I get? I said 5 hours. They said, how much do you charge? I said $25,000. First thing someone does is go, 5 hours, $5,000 an hour? Man, that's like a small car, you know? That's the first thing people do. And because you're giving them the opportunity to make a decision based on time for money, which is not the conversation you want in someone's head. What you want is a result for money, right? That's the reason why you're going to be talking to your prospective client about the problem and the result, okay? What are the biggest challenges you're having with regard to this? And then solve their problem in exchange for money. The time gets out of the way. In fact, nowadays, Chris, here's what I do. In my events, you'll literally hear me say this. You might have heard me say this is a big pivot. I go, look, the time doesn't matter. You're not investing in my time. I'm the kind of person that you want to pick up the phone, ask me a 5-minute question, hang up, and we're good. That's the kind of work that I do. The advice that I'm going to be giving you is $50,000, $100,000 advice. And let me ask theoretically. This is what I say to my audience. I say theoretically, let me ask. If I gave you a single idea that was worth $100,000 for you. Would you be willing to invest $5,000 or $10,000 into that single idea? Everybody goes, yes. Then I go, what if it took me a minute to say? Would you still want it? And people say yes, because ultimately they want the result, okay? Now, when it comes to a starting price, again, I'm gonna go deeper in this inside of Top Gun Consultant. When it comes to a starting price, I have a bottom baseline that I will never charge less, and that's based on $1 million a year, okay? But I don't do a starting point for anything, because again, it's all down to I've done $99,000 deals. I've done six-figure deals. I've had clients that pay me over time 7 figures because of the work that we did together with commissions and retainers and bonuses and percentages and everything, okay? So I don't do that because fundamentally it's not my price that's important, it's the result and the value of the result, okay? And again, I'll go more into that. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Chris, follow-up question. So does it smarter market yourself as being able to solve a few specific problems or just market to many different issues? I think that you should start with specific problems, but fundamentally, like I work with entrepreneurs, Chris, so I don't start with like, this is the one problem that I solve, but I do speak to the entrepreneurial problems to attract people. So I think you're gonna start with an ideal client. Again, I go deep, I do a full ideal client exercise inside of Top Gun Consultant. I go deep on that. So the first thing to do is identify your ideal client, then figure out what is it that they want, then figure out how to solve that problem. All right? So great questions, dude. Really great questions. Thank you. I'm going to go more on the deeper on this next week, not next week, the week after. I've got several shows planned for you to talk more about this topic. At the end of today, you should feel right now like more, hey man, I could do this. You know, you should feel more empowered and more excited about the incredible work that you can do in the world. Okay? You got it, buddy. Silly, you are the best, dude. I had a really beautiful comment in here by Robert, which I'm going to show just before we leave. Let me just wrap up today and just say that I believe in you. You have the solution to someone's problem. Everyone does. Everyone does. And if you just have the willingness to go out there and ask for the sale, you're going to do amazing. You're going to do amazing. And so come on next week, next Tuesday. Like I said, I'm going to be live in D.C. It's going to be awesome, dude. It's going to be awesome. And then Thursday with NFL quarterback Jeff Kemp. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll stick around and chat for a few minutes and say hello. Just want to say thank you to Robert. What a beautiful comment that you just made. He said, we need to tell every citizen to tune in next week to learn why to vote for you. Let's make history and get millions to write in your name. Dude, wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be awesome? So everybody's arguing about ballots and whether Trump is out of his mind or Joe Biden's out of his mind, and all of a sudden everyone's like, whoa, what? Oh man. So next week we're going to bring up just some common things that are challenges in our country, and we're going to start talking about solutions. And it's going to be a conversation more than a monologue. All right, I got Marquetta and Ricky coming from Nevada as well. We're going to have this conversation together. So it's going to include everything: race, the economy, kindness, world issues and affairs. We're going to have a blast. All right. So let me wrap up by saying this: you can do this. I mean, you can do this. I believe in you. You can do this. You can go out and you can create incredible value in the world. And you can get paid really well to do it. So don't forget, I like you and I love you, and you're going to change the world. So let's have some fun. Ed Talks Live.